So next up is Henk Boelman and Sherry List, and they will be showcasing how to build inclusive experiences. So please give a big applause while they are coming on stage.
So let's hope it works.
Hope everyone got the coffee.
Yeah.
It's siesta time.
Perfect. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our session, Building Inclusive Experiences. So my name is Henk Boelman, and I'm a senior cloud advocate. I'm also a white male with brown hair, wearing glasses, having a shirt on that says Data Nerd, and it is black. And today we're standing here on this really cool Codegarden stage. I have a Twitter, so if you can follow me and tag me in all your tweets you're going to do after the session, that will be very welcome. I have a GitHub with a lot of code samples about Umbraco and AI. And if you want to read a little bit more in depth how you want to deploy Umbraco on Azure using containers and all those kind of things, you can go to my blog.
And hi, everybody. I'm Sherry List. I'm a female with an olive color skin and dark brown hair and then dark brown eyes. And I'm wearing all in black. I'm originally from Iran, and I live in Denmark. So I'm working as a senior program manager at Microsoft, so I'm Henk's colleague. And next to my daily work, I'm also chairperson of a nonprofit organization called Hack Your Future, where we are helping people from disadvantaged group in Denmark that they have zero or no access, some access to the free education system in Denmark to go through a 7 months intensive courses so they can join the job market as the junior developers. And today, as Henk mentioned, we are going to have an introduction about accessibility, and then we are going to have a super cool demo on how to apply all of our learning in real life. And then Henk is going to tell us 5 things that we can do right now. We can start it right now to make sure that we create an inclusive experience.
Cool. So let's start with why you want to create accessible experience. And let's define what accessibility actually is. So did you know that there are 1 billion people in the world that have some kind of a disability, and that a lot of them need assistive technology to actually function in society. But that only 1 in 10 at the moment has access to those tools. And that a disability, of getting disability or having that, can affect you at any time. Like the stage can fall down, something can happen, so it can happen to everyone. So there are a few types of disability. So we have the group that has a permanent disability, like you miss like an arm. That's kind of very permanent. But we mostly only think about that group, and not about the group that is temporary, like you broke your arm. That person, yeah, it's kind of hard if you have your right arm and you have to start working with your left hand for your mouse. It doesn't work for me in any way if you have to use Photoshop. Or that there are situational cases, like you are a new parent and you have to hold your baby constantly, and you have to do your work or do something. So, because there are so many people that have a disability, if you don't design for accessibility, it's kind of like saying to every 5th person who walks in your door, saying like, I don't want your business. No, we don't make our website accessible for you. So 1 in 5 cannot experience what you are building. And that's a big number. So let's define what a disability actually is and what I mean when I talk about disability. It's not like a personal health condition. That's mostly what you think, oh, you have the disability. It's not like that. It's not like a disease or something. It is a mismatch between someone's abilities and the way an environment is set up. So it is a human-made problem. It's about how we create our environment. Because wheelchairs don't make a building accessible, it is kind of the stairs that kind of do in this case. So let's talk a little bit about accessibility, and I will give you an example about how I experienced it. So when I was 12, I had to be in a wheelchair for like a few years. And I was so super happy after a year that I could go back to school, because you're 12, you want to go to that very awkward school like your first year in senior school, you just want to go there. You see all your friends do that. So I was so extremely happy that I could go there. But my school didn't have a elevator. So what I thought of was, okay, let's pick him out of the wheelchair and kind of walk him up the stairs. Let's do that during break so everyone can see that. And then put him in his wheelchair again and roll him. And that like 4 times a day, because nobody could like schedule for me the things downstairs. That was like way too hard. But I was super, super happy that I could go to those classes and could participate. But my mother was so pissed at the school. And I just didn't understand why. Until I think 3 years ago, when I was starting to think about accessibility, start talking about accessibility. And accessibility is more like the design of products, services, and environments so that everyone, including people with disabilities, can fully experience it. So it is all about the same equal experience. It's not something like, okay, let's lift him and then the outcome is the same. No, it is also thinking about the way of getting there. And if you design for accessibility, like the first audiobooks were already invented in 1930 for people with low vision, with a vision problem. And now, we're all enjoying that same experience when we are in the car. Like it is a situational disability. We can't read in the car, or at least we shouldn't read in the car. So it is really good. And if you design for accessibility, it is a better experience for everyone. And we're all going to be disabled, hopefully, if we live long enough. But just some beat us to it. And accessibility is something that should be built in at the start. It is not something you should kind of put on later. Like, oh, okay, we have this website. Now, okay, let's also make it accessible for the rest, for the 1 in 5 persons. So bake it in from the start. And Sherry is going to talk to us about how you can actually do that with some cool dinosaur example.
Yeah. So the Dinosaur Story is about that. I mean, we all want to have a real-life scenario, right? So I heard that they are closing a shelter for dinosaurs in Denmark. And as an animal lover, I said that, oh, I don't want all of these dinosaurs to just be abandoned. I mean, I wanted to do my part to save these dinosaurs. And what is better than putting all of these dinosaurs for adoption, right? So I came up, if I can switch to my, okay, great. So I started building this website, Adopt a Dinosaur. So I collected information about every single of them, and I started to building it. And then I talked with Henk, and he told me that, oh, you're building a website. Did you have accessibility in mind when you're building that? So that, well, no, not really. So then I said that it's good that I started now to apply all of this accessibility. And then he came across, actually he mentioned that we have already a tool called Accessibility Insights, which is already there. And you can have it either as a part of for your Windows application or as an extension for your browser. Any Chromium browser has this accessibility inside one. So it will help us as developer to have accessibility in mind when we are applying that. So I have that installed here. Let me just see that if it's big enough, or maybe I should make it bigger. So I have it installed here. So what it does, it has like it gives you three options. One is going to give you a fast pass. What is doing the fast pass is doing is that it's going to give you all of those very important things that you forgot to apply. And if you go to any of this one, it's going to give you some information that what is missing there. And I have this one here as well. So look at here, for this simple page that still doesn't have any functionality there, I already have 24 issues. And if I look at them, every single of them, it tells you that where that issue is applied. So what we are going to do together now to quickly fix all of these issues. So for you to know, this simple page that I created is an Azure Static Web Apps. And it's with a front end as a pure JavaScript and a Node as a backend. So the very first thing that it told me is that this one, the header doesn't have a correct color contrast. That's one of the easiest things to fix. When you have here, let me show you actually. If I go here to inspect the element, here, if I go into my H1, my CSS, you click on this, it actually gives you already the contrast ratio. And in this case, is 1.6. So people that they are slightly colorblind, definitely they cannot read this text. And me, as a person that I have a lot of passion for this dinosaur, definitely I want to give an kind of that increase the adoption rate in my dinosaurs. And also I want to give equal right to everybody to be able to adopt these dinosaurs, right? So in order to fix this one, it's so easy. Even you can go here, and here actually it suggests you that if I choose one of these colors, it already increased my ratio, for example. So this is 9.99, the ratio. If you want to make sure that most of people can read this text while they have the color blind, your ratio should be around 7, above 7. Below 7 is not a good number. So if I want to be 100% right, the best thing to do is to go to a style sheet and actually change this color to white. And I have few of them here. So let me change it to white. So if I go back here and I refresh it, and let me close this one because we don't need it anymore. So I go back here to FastPass. So it told me that it's not working because I have to restart it over. Have it? Yeah, of course, DemoGod should be with me. So if I save it, my H1 is white. So it should hopefully go away. So they still tell me that I have few issues. Yeah, because I had more. Right, OK. So the top one are gone, but I had more of that issue. So let me go and change this one as well. And then while we are doing that, instead of having a refresh, let's go to the other ones as well, and then I do the refresh. So my H1s are going away, hopefully, if I refresh. And then the second one is that it tells me that the HTML tag doesn't have the language. Why is important? Many people, they use screen readers. And those screen readers, in the HTML top, we should tell them that which language it is. So it can adjust it from beginning, so they don't make all of those robotic sounds. And you should keep in mind that if your language that you're supporting, if, for example, is Persian, Arabic, Hebrew, so they're written right to left, you should also, in the top level, in the HTML level, you should also have the text direction as well. So it's going to help all of those accessibility toolkit there as well. So let's fix that one as well, since we are here, and they are related. So I'm going here to say that lang en, and the next one is the alt. So the alt image, most of us, we forget to put that alt image, or if we put it there, we are not coming with very inclusive, maybe, description. I was at a talk when there was a blind person talking about accessibility, and then he was mentioning that when he goes to those menu and screen reader, read all of those alt there, so he says that it's a burger button instead of putting the right alt there. So also remember that whatever that you put there, it should be descriptive. It should be, because people really rely on those things. In our case, what we are going to do, I'm going here to the part that I have the image. So the alt that I'm going to do here, I'm going to say, OK, I'm going to write, this is the name of my dinosaur. It has the nickname. And then I'm going to say that posing for camera. So then, now that I come here to my page, if I refresh it, hopefully, let's try to see if the demigod is with me. And they are gone. Yes, you see, all of those issues, they are gone. But this is the minimum we can all do to make our page accessible. These should be already in our mind when we are writing them, when we are building any of web pages. But I told you that we have more things here, more options here. The second one I want to show you is the ad hoc tools. So this one is going to show us, for example, those color contrasts, or if a person is fully colorblind, how that person is going to see the page. It's always good that we check for this stuff as well. And then the other one is the landmarks. You see, currently, it cannot find any landmark. And then what is a landmark? Landmark is all of those HTML elements that they are already there, like header, main, footer, that many of us, like me myself, I not always use it. If I want to segment my page, I put div everywhere. So that's what I did here as well. So if I want to fix it, it's super quick. So I go here, instead of this, I put header, and this is the end of my header. And this is my main area. I still didn't have a footer, but when I make my footer, I'm going to have that one there as well. So if I refresh it here, hopefully it should also show the landmarks, yeah? And those accessibility tools, they are actually going through these elements. And so those tools, they rely on this one. That's why that is very important. We make sure that we have all of those landmarks there as well. We don't have a lot of time, so what I'm going to show you here, this is the full blown up accessibility search that assessment that you can do on your page. It's telling you every single of this, for example, this area alt and so on, and it's going to give you, if you go through this tool, it's going to give you tips how you apply those ones. For example, your image, they should have role. So, your div, they should have roles. For example, let me just quickly show you here. Here, when I have for example, if I have a UL, I want to tell people that this is a list area. So there is an attribute called role that you can use here, and it says that this is a list. So this, for example, the screen reader is going to know that here is a list. And also, if you want to tab, then it knows that the list has an order. And it's going to look for the list items, which are here. Role equal list item. So then I should put it for all of my LI here, which I have 3 of them for now. Then I'm sure that all the tabs and so on is going to work here. The last thing I'm going to tell you is that let's imagine that I want to work with Henk to finish this one. And I want to make sure that both of us, we are going to apply all of these accessibility rules. So we are not going to forget it later on. So that's the part that you can add it to your build process. For this case, here, I have actually this one literally copied and pasted from the GitHub for the accessibility inside. So what it does is going to, I put it in the YAML file for my build process, that what it does that once it's built, then it's going to run that full blown up assessment. And then once that is done, it's going to create it as an artifact, the whole report, so I can go and check it. If you want, you can also apply it in the way that if the accessibility is not, for example, if there is an error, then it's actually going to build your, break your build process as well. So it depends on you and your team that how you want to actually apply this one. But so I just wanted to mention that this is actually possible as well. So with the pray to the demo god, what I'm going to do is that git add all, git commit that git commit sm that I fixed the issues. And let's do a git push and hope that is going to work. So what is happening here that since accessibility inside, it works with the GitHub action, of course, on every push or merge or so on, that GitHub action is going to run. And then I have it here. So this is fix the issues. The build process should be fast because it's just some JavaScript there. So it's going to run the whole build, and then after that, it's going to run that accessibility test. One thing I want to tell you that I was talking to Henk yesterday, that by going through all of these, tips that this accessibility insight actually provide me, I recently realized that how bad I was in building any of my HTML file. And the thing is that neither of us have that intention, that we want to exclude people, but unintentionally we do it anytime. So tools like this is normally really good to actually visualize it. To say that, okay, with only this little bit of effort, you can include a lot of people there. And hopefully, so now it's scanning for accessibility. So say that, let me just say that it is there. And it's going to upload the artifact. Any of you here ever actually used the accessibility insight extension? Great, that's great. I didn't know until Henk actually mentioned it to me, and it's very shameful. So, okay, so it actually uploaded the artifact and everything. So what is happening when I put it smaller, sorry. Okay, it's still there. Okay. So at some point, I can show you the previous one. At some point, like this one, I tried it before. So it creates this artifact for you here, that when you go and download it, you see, it's going to go through all of those lists which was there, the full list, and it says that 30 of them apply to my small page, and then 38 of them, they were irrelevant. So yeah, I guess that was all I wanted to show to you. So.
So before you can all leave, that was not the end. It is time, but we were running 5 minutes over, so we still have some time to give you some tips before you leave. So the first thing, I only saw 2 hands that was doing accessibility insights. So next year, I want to see the whole room, at least this amount of people that implemented accessibility insights in their pipelines, because it was 6 lines of code, and you get the report. But some other things, if you're starting to design for accessibility, always start with asking yourself the question, who am I building this for, and who am I building this with? So bring people with a disability into your team. Make your team diverse. Have some persons that have low vision, are colorblind. Ask them about their experience and put them in your design teams. Who can experience what I'm building? There are so many ways that you can help actually improve the experience of your product. Like I saw a lot of tweets today from all of you, or Codegarden, and I didn't see anyone putting an alt tag with their image. So all your tweets, someone with low vision was unable to see all the fun, all the cool things on your pictures. But also, in PowerPoint, if you give a presentation, that is just accessibility. It checks everything for you. Are the alt descriptions there? Is my contrast ready? In Word, in Outlook, so you can be accessible with just a few clicks on your machine. Then if you're creating content, also think of who can experience my content. This is my show, a bit of AI. In the time that we had Corona, we couldn't be here. We had to do something. We thought we're not going to present any slides, which kind of makes it really inclusive for people with low vision. We added sign language interpreters, so everyone was able to kind of understand what was going on. And are accessible features available for everyone? And can people actually find them? Because a lot of times, conferences, events, they have accessibility requirements, features. They did something, but they hide it like in the footer menu. Like, hey, there is also something accessibility down there. So make it clear what you do, and also make clear what you don't do, so that it is clear for everyone. And finally, ask everyone. Have a way for people to give you feedback on how to make things more accessible. Learn from that and put it in your development process. So the more inclusive you are, the more innovative we can all be. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of Codegarden.